Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. In this story, 72% of all fatalities are linked to dragons. However, these dragons are invisible to the majority of people. Only those that live in the reverse world can see them, but even then, only a select few become qualified enough as witches or wizards to make contact with dragons. A hideous, greasy, disgusting girl named Noelle is one of these witches, and she ignores some nerds that are gawking at her while walking through the city. Noelle's walk is interrupted by a little rat-looking dog, but she comes prepared with a treat. A menacing laugh can be heard in the distance as an evil boy claims that she has fallen for his trap. Some stupid dweeb appears out of nowhere to reveal that the little furball is his precious dog Osushi. The nerd's name is Balgo, and he just wants to get a look under Noelle's plot armor, but he just ends up getting destroyed by her kick. Balgo admires Noelle for being a strong, independent woman, but Noelle doesn't want to hear him speak anymore, and shows him what she will do to his manhood if he doesn't leave her alone. This little stalker warns her not to underestimate him, but Noelle just finishes him off with another strike. Noelle feeds the little rat and plans to find it a much better owner. She leaves the dog just seconds later though, and reports for duty using a real old-style phone booth. This phone booth actually transports her to the reverse world, leaving Balgo wondering where his future girlfriend went. In the reverse world, a crowd gathers as they try to get autographs from a girl named Nini. Nini breaks free from the paparazzi, and she blames Noelle's lateness for the crowd forming. Nini's fans beg her for some weird fan service stuff, so her and her friend run away. The two argue about how stupid their names sound, and Noelle wants to be called Noelle-chan. Nini demands that her expressionless friend stop acting Japanese, especially since she hasn't even been to Japan. Their pointless conversation finally ends as they approach the flying monster train they will be taking, but it's just about to leave. Nini forces her way into the poor monster, so Noelle thanks her, but annoys her by calling her by her first name. The view from this monster shows the magical world, but it also shows just how popular Nini is, as her crazy fans spot her from a non-monster train. At a dragon management agency called Wingbind, Billy the Chief thanks the girls for reporting to work. The girls prepare to head to a mission, so Nini unleashes her malnourished Charizard. Billy tells the girls that their mission this time will be a lot of fun, but Nini's furious since that is what he always says, but he is always wrong. Noelle with her lifeless eyes tells Nini to shut up because her arguing won't change anything. The girls decide to just hop on their anorexic Pokemon looking things and fly off to get some work experience doing the mission. Back in normal world, Balgo can only remember seeing Noelle disappear. He is super dramatic, but it turns out that he is just upset that he wasn't able to see under her plot armor. The nerd's friend named Selby tells him that the reverse world is just a fairy tale, so Balgo has his vicious guard dog attack him. Osushi is more hopeless than Balgo's chances with Noelle, so Selby gives him some advice. Selby tells him to stop drooling over her so much and become friends with her instead. Balgo suspects this traitor of wanting Noelle for himself, but Selby isn't interested in hideous girls. Back in Upside Down World, Noelle feeds the starving Pokemon, but Nini gets frustrated. She just wants to climb the ranks and join something called the Sabres so she can protect the city of London. The dead-faced Noelle is completely the opposite though, as she's fine just the way things are. The guy that requested their help finally arrives, and Nini gets annoyed when Noelle introduces her like she is her boss. The guy needs help with an A-rank harvest, so the girls have to climb some giant camel-looking monster. This monster carries grapes that the guy needs for making wine, but he can't do it himself. If a civilian were to touch a dragon directly, they would get the death penalty. When dragons make contact with humans, they absorb all their negative emotions and turn into dark dragons. Noelle, with the most dead eyes you will ever see, reminds Nini that witches exist to be a bridge between humans and dragons. The giant camel burps all over Nini, so she just wants to hurry up and get the mission over with. Unfortunately for her, Noelle discovers that the grapes are inside the giant beast's nostrils. Back in the normal world, Balgo doesn't find anything strange with the phone booth. His friend thinks he is just going crazy, but Balgo is certain that he saw the letters WB on a manhole cover. Selby tells Balgo that he should go back to thinking of women's delicates instead, but Balgo gets offended and points out that he never stops thinking about them. Just then, the adorable little Osushi explodes, and Balgo is shocked since only his cute little pet's outsides remain. What's even crazier is that what came out of the little pup is a giant black dragon. Back in Upside Down World, the girls are harvesting monster grape boogers when they get a call from Billy. Billy asks them to finish up the harvesting job this very moment since he needs them to do an extermination instead. Noelle refuses since she thinks Billy must just be half asleep and would never assign them an extermination case if he was in his right mind. Billy can still hear the stupid girls and explains that the Sabers are busy doing a practice exercise. Ninny knows exactly why he has chosen them, and it's because they are the strongest pipers in existence. As they make their way back, it becomes clear that they don't have time to get there with a phone gate, so Ninny thinks they should use something called a coin gate instead. The dead-faced Noelle wonders why Ninny is so excited, but it's obvious. She explains that she wants to save London and make everyone take notice of them. That way, she can get promoted to the Sabers. Noelle brings out the coin, so Ninny shoots it, and it opens a gate. Back in Upside Up World, the boys run for their useless lives, but they can't even see what is trying to end their lives. Balgo vows to protect his little buddy Osushi, but he is just a stuffed animal with no stuffing at this point. The boys can tell that the invisible thing is about to end their lives, but the girls arrive just in time. They spot the dark dragon, but can't understand what it's doing in the middle of London. Noelle tries to figure out how it was able to conceal itself until it got this big, but is shocked when the dragon begins to speak. The dragon calls Noelle out directly and demands that he get a look under Noelle's plot armor. Noelle can instantly tell that those are Balgo's words and demands that he come out. Balgo is stunned to see that his future wife is somehow flying, but she is furious. She explains that contact with the dragon carries a 100-year sentence, or even worse, the death penalty. Balgo doesn't seem to have a brain, as her warning doesn't register at all. He can't understand why she is so angry, and just thinks about how her angry face is super cute. Ninny teases her friend about the boy, but Noelle isn't into jokes, and decides that she will obey the laws and end his life. The girls notice Osushi's lump of fur, and Noelle explains that it's Balgo's puppy that he was very fond of. Ninny determines that this dark dragon must be a disguiser, a dragon that uses a corpse as a disguise and becomes what the body is. Balgo simps super hard to get Noelle's attention, but his friend can't believe how casual he is even after Osushi just lost his life. Balgo is in serious denial though, as he says that the little furball is still alive, just a little limper. Selby points out that the dragon actually chewed Osushi up from the inside, but Balgo is just shocked that his friend is actually able to see the invisible thing. Ninny rushes off to protect the boys and leaves the dragon to Noelle. Noelle watches her device closely, but it reveals that there is another dragon. It's too late, however, as Ninny has made it to the guys and a dragon emerges from Selby's body, absolutely destroying Ninny. Noelle tries to rush to her friend, but monster-level Osushi holds her back. Selby is annoyed since his plan to eat them all has been ruined, but Balgo can't even see his once close friend anymore. Selby tells Balgo to run, however, since he just wants to eat a witch so he can become immortal. Ninny fires her weapon at this thing and tries to explain that he's just talking about a myth. Selby wants to find out for himself, but Noelle appears just in time to save Ninny. Noelle apologizes for being late, but she explains that she took care of the monster Osushi that wanted to see her delicates. Noelle then reveals that Balgo and Selby were almost hit by a train when they were 7 years old. Selby tried to protect Balgo and was badly injured. Ninny assumes that's when the dragon took him as a disguise. However, a dragon hiding among humans for that long is extremely dangerous. Just then, Selby instantly catches up to them and sends Ninny crashing down to Earth, with Noelle getting struck right after. Ninny was thrown right by Balgo, but she gets really annoyed when he asks if she is okay, even though she is clearly not. Ninny thinks he should have ran away a long time ago, but Balgo explains that he couldn't just abandon someone. Monster Selby arrives and tells Balgo to get out of his way so he can eat Ninny. Balgo can't see the dragon but is terrified by its sheer presence. Selby states that once he becomes immortal from eating Ninny, then he will be willing to let Noelle go. Ninny is completely hopeless as Selby sends out his attack, but she is shocked when she sees that Balgo protected her. Balgo screams in agony as he is in a great deal of pain, but he is stunned when he's finally able to see Monster Selby. Ninny reminds Balgo that he's only supposed to be rescuing his beloved Noelle, and this simp gets excited just by hearing her name. The Simp King just wants to keep talking about Noelle, but Ninny quickly points out that he is losing a lot of blood. Selby wants Balgo to just give up, but the little nerd shows signs of being a hero as he refuses. Balgo reveals that the person he actually refuses to abandon is Selby. Monster Selby tries to explain that the real Selby passed away when he was 7. All he did was wear Selby's corpse and acted like him this entire time. Balgo points out that this dragon has been Selby for 10 years, and that means that it has been Selby way longer than the real Selby. He has always considered this fake Selby to be his best friend, so he refuses to abandon him now. It's clear that Balgo doesn't understand what Dragon Selby is trying to tell him, so Selby decides that he will just have to end his life as well. Luckily, Noelle appears out of nowhere and shows that she is the most powerful person in this anime, as she easily destroys Selby. Balgo is shocked when his queen calls out to him, and even more stunned when she calls what he just did kind of cool. Dragon Selby can barely move, but he takes to the sky and makes one last attempt at an attack. Noelle surprisingly decides to accept Balgo's feelings, a win for simps everywhere, and she prepares her weapon. She uses an attack called Absolute Dragon Shatter, and it blows Selby up into a million pieces. Balgo is in awe of his queen, but a bit stunned to see that his friend was just blown up. He thought that the story was building up to have Selby saved, but Nini explains that they are witches. Their job is to eliminate dragons, and their work is done. Back at headquarters, Nini is furious about something. Billy explains that Balgo was in contact with a dragon for 10 years. He was also just bitten by Selby, so he has been turned into something called a dragon clad. Nini is still furious and just thinks he should be getting the stop living penalty anyway. Billy explains that dragon clads are essentially dragons, so they must keep Balgo there. Billy plans to leave that responsibility to the girls, however, and simply wishes them luck. Osushi is surprisingly still alive and is apparently part dragon as well. He still wants to take a peek under Noelle's plot armor though, so Balgo tries to explain that he has no clue how Osushi learned those words. Sometime later, Noelle feeds her weird little plants and receives the paper from Starving Mon. Balgo is there as well and gushes over how adorable Osushi is. Noelle has him answer a call from Nini, and he finds that Nini is furious once again. Noelle made it into the news and she didn't, even though Nini thinks she did most of the work. Nini turns her rage towards Balgo, but luckily for him their attention switches to a message from Billy. Noelle refuses his job offer since it's Saturday, but he reveals that this job is worth 5 times the pay in points. Thanks for watching my recap. Sign up to my free newsletter if you want to show some support to the channel. Link is in the description.